But the jazz festivals, it's good that that comes up, that that reputation is out there. The folk festivals, like what Chris and I run and many of the others, when you hear the word folk in Canada, you can interpret that as world. Our world music festivals are the folk festivals. And we don't really have any festivals that call themselves world music festivals that I am aware of. I live in Vancouver. It's a big country, or I'm outside of Vancouver, but that whole area is founded, like many cities, by immigration. 50%, more than 50% of the population of Vancouver is non-English speaking as their first language. Those peoples come from many places, but it creates a vibrant background for the presentation of world music for artists to come. Now, we do have a number of artists who live in Vancouver. They're not from Vancouver. There's one band from Nicaragua that, or one player, that during the years in Nicaragua during the Civil War, a number of musicians immigrated. The same thing with Chile. There was an influx of Chilean populations and musicians and artists, theater people. We've benefited by immigration around the world from troubled situations, and we have in our population a lot of creative talent and peoples. So it's a vibrant city. There is an unfortunate side. The provincial government that we have doesn't understand the concept of culture, at least not yet. We're hoping that changes. But in that context, the Mission Folk Music Festival developed, and part of its vision is encountering the world, introducing our audiences to the rest of the world. And we emphasize every year that we have music from all around the world, and we have emphasis years. One year it might be a part of South America, somewhere in the north, Inuit populations, Scandinavian, Asian, India, but we've never done Central America. Central America has always been this blank spot in our roster. And part of it is because there hasn't been that structured approach to us. Plus, I didn't know, where do I go to find these Central American artists? I think the market that you have here this weekend, this first market, it was important for me to attend. It was on my radar because it's new. It's connections to Central America, connections that did not exist before, connections that promise to offer development and potential touring, but more importantly, just this exchange of cultures and ideas between Central America and North America. The thing about Vancouver that's, I guess, that's true is it's on the Pacific Rim. It's a Pacific Coast city, and much of what happens in Vancouver is also true in San Francisco and Los Angeles, in the Pacific Coast cities. You have the immigration, you have the populations, and you have the interest in cultures beyond where we live. So I think I'll end with that right now. I did want to refer to something that was said yesterday or the day before. That's the power of the collective working together. The Mission Folk Music Festival started as an artist collective, and it's been running for 25 years. And it's when you put together your talents, your work, your resources, and begin moving, there's a lot of potential and there's a lot of power in it.
Make us excited about what you are doing here, what you are doing here in Central America. And one of the best ways for us to be excited about it is to see that you also are excited. One of the things to me that stands out about the possibilities for Central America is that you are in a time of relative peace after many years of of wars and dictatorships, of strife, of colonization and other problems. But right now there is a relative peace. And my experience, I lived in a country that was, where there was a renaissance of art, culture, music, poetry, theater, education, after a long suppression of 40 years. This is a tremendous opportunity. It takes a lot of effort, but the world passes on a daily basis through Central America. Grab their attention as they pass through. You have the canal, the Panama Canal. We have people moving here from Canada. How many of you have met Canadians here in Central America? How many of you have met Canadians or U.S. citizens here in Central America? And not military. How many of you have been to Canada? But we come here, and we're here on a regular basis, but very often we pass through, or someone buys a retirement property, but we don't know much about you. And I think the more you know about yourselves, who you are, about your culture, the better able, the more powerfully you can come to us with your music. And not just with your music, but your music and your theater, your poetry, and everything else cultural. I just made some notes. I just want to look at a couple of them here to make sure I've got them all. This idea of inviting the world here, and I'm picking up a little bit on what Gerald said yesterday and previously in some conversations this morning. It's not all about going out to the world. It's also about inviting the world here. You invite the world here to see what you have. It would really serve well to have a platform here, a festival that belongs to Central America, where you can invite people from Womex, you can invite people from South by Southwest, you can invite people from APAP, you can invite people from many, many places. And in many ways, this weekend, or this event right now, is the beginning of that. But it's not simply about going out. And I think my principal point in my words here is that we've talked a lot about how you get to other countries. But it's also important that there's the other flow, the flow here. And I think it's very important to invite the world to Central America.